Hello everyone, this is Billy Cultist again, and today the plan will be to show how to make a real cheapo that is non-complicated explosion, but get something that looks pretty good for your low effort. But now it's not going to be entirely without effort, but I'm saying we're not going to use any gadgets, we're not going to use any timelines or anything like that. We're going to make a really basic explosion that you could just hook up to an emitter when you're done, and you can watch it pop out. We're not going to be going into how to emit the explosion or any of that kind of stuff. I probably won't even add a sound effect to it. We're just going to be going into how to make it. We're going to make it with paint. We're going to get into paint mode like so, and I'm gonna go ahead and actually, it really doesn't matter. I'll change it to white just because, but frankly it doesn't matter because what we're gonna do later is gonna affect that anyway. We'll use the pencil or the draw flex tool. I like to go with the pencil, but we're gonna go to the center here. If you have the floor turned on, you won't need you shouldn't need an object in the scene. You might if you have it for some kind of guide purposes or something like that. But we're going to take our draw fleck tool, and first part of the explosion is going to be the initial flash, which is going to be quick and very bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the center this way, and I'm going to draw and make it get bigger as it goes out, like so. Now I'm going to press circle and get off the tool. I'm still in the painting. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take and I'm going to grab this, clone it out. I'm going to clone this. I'm going to rotate around. What I'm going to end up doing with this is I'm going to make kind of a starburst kind of effect here. These things all sticking off of each other from the same central point. It's pretty important. You want to make sure that your things are all going to the same central point, and you also want to make sure that the direction you drew the stroke is going outward. Otherwise, the movements will not be right. Or you could just reverse it, but it complicates things, so just keep it simple. But in any respect, we got that. So now that I got that, I'm going to exit the painting. And I'm going to get into the settings on this painting. And we're going to go to this movie clapper section, animation. And we're going to see the playback speed is at 0. We're going to go bring it up, test it a little bit. It's fast, but what we'll do is put it on pulse. Take off the loop. Rewind the scene. All right. It's a little. Is that fast enough? I might want it a little faster. It's all relative, but you do want the initial flash to be quite a bit faster than the rest of the explosion. Maybe even faster for me. It's also going to be quite bright, so you're not going to miss it. Believe me. Leave all that the same. Actually, I might turn that trail down a bit. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go in here and you're going to go turn up the glow factor. And for the initial flash, quite a bit for me. I mean, you can mess with this as you like, but I might slow it down just a touch. I'll go back to 500, see how that is. Pretty good. I might brighten it up even more. I really like a bright bang. Yeah. Alright. And if ever you want to see it when it's set to pulse on here, you won't see it at the beginning if it's like this, pulse and no loops. But if you want to see it, you turn off the preview invisibility and you'll see it. There it is. In its glories. And I'm gonna go here to the flex. I'm gonna kind of like rough a little bit. Impasto, get a little body going on in there. That's nice, something like that. Turn on the preview of the invisibility so we can go back and, man, that's bright. All right. Okay, well, I'm liking that. I might turn down the brightness just a touch. I'll go back down to like 70. Turn that. We'll go with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to paint mode. And we are going to make a new painting. Excuse me, Dreams. Thank you. Got to do the pencil again. And this time, I'm getting into the pyro part of the explosion. This is kind of the Hollywood part where you get to see the smoke and the fire, the fun part, you know. Which, a lot of explosions don't necessarily have it, but this one will. We'll start at the beginning at the center again, and we'll kind of, but this time I'm going to start big, and I'm going to kind of shrink her down, and maybe kind of make it, you know, wiggle off a little bit there. There's kind of a sidewindy, curvy, you know, that's nice. So I'm back out. I want to dupe that out. Copy that. And kind of do the same thing again that I did before. Except this time I may shrink a few, you know, make them different sizes, different rotations or whatever. But basically it all comes from the center again. From the center. And they all point in the direction the stroke was drawn. And some of them are little tiny ones. I'm making this explosion in such a way that really it doesn't matter per se if it hits it. Like if it was coming from a missile hitting a surface, it wouldn't necessarily matter the orientation of the blast. It would probably look okay for the most part, regardless of the orientation of the blast. There are tricks you can do that involve gadgets that can keep an explosion, you know, orientated correctly to the surface that is being impacted or whatever, but what we're doing here is just kind of a basic one that you won't need that for. You shouldn't. Anyway though, there it is. We exit the painting. Now we're gonna work on the fire. So this is fun. You can make your fire, or I would just go in here, take the color, turn that way up, do that. Turn on the glow, but not as much as the initial blast for sure, because we just want this kind of orangey glow for this fire, but it's not going to be glaring out like the blast was. Let's see what goes. There's our blast. I just keeping a handle on our explosions animations. We got a glow, so we're gonna go back in here and we're gonna do the same things. We're gonna speed it up. Probably not as fast as the initial blast. Initial blast was like 500, so let's do this at maybe 300. Pulse, not loop. Trail length 50%, which we may want to lengthen. We'll see what happens. Okay. So this time offset is a big key to explosions, these simple kinds. Now what I want is I want the initial blast began at this 10%. Everything defaults to this. But what I want is to bring this up just a touch, maybe not too much, but I'm not even lengthening the trail, like I said, just a bit to like 70 or 60 or something. Not all the way. We'll want to wait for that, but also, this is always something I like to do. You don't necessarily have to do this, but it just gives it more body. Crank that up. So let's go back and see what we got. Okay, that's about what you want. And usually, if you're making like these things are variable for what you're making your explosion like, how big is it supposed to be, and You know, is it like a missile impact explosion, or is it like a nuke or a oil well blowing up or something like that? It's gonna be different. But for the weapons explosion, like a grenade or a missile impact, you're probably gonna want a nice short, kind of around 3 seconds or so explosion. It doesn't take too long to dissipate, because that's gonna be how long your emitted object's gonna have to have its lifetime when you hook it up to an emitter. So you want to shoot for something that's, and this is nice and shortish. Doesn't take too long. But anyway, that we've got. So now we got fire, we've got blast, a shocking glare of light to light the night. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the smoke, which is very fun. So what you're gonna do is this. It's very simple. Duplicate the fire. Grab it, clone it, and have it like right on, don't move it. Have it like right about on top of the fire. And then get into its settings. And if the glare is too much from that, you can always go into tools, hide it for a while you're working on that. And that will do that. But we get the fire. Turn off the glow on our other fire. Turn it to black. This is gonna be the smoke. 200%. Okay, so there we go. Also, I'll turn that up, maybe change that a little bit, give it some. The settings are gonna be the same because we do the speed. We want to leave the speed the same. We'll lengthen the trail all the way out. And again, I like to do this. You might not want to do this. It depends on what you're looking for visually, but I like to move it up ahead here so that, now we can't really see it. I'm gonna revert that. I'm gonna try to grab this as it's happening. Okay, so there we've got it. I paused it halfway, and I'm gonna grab this smoke. And like, see, that's kind of nice. You might not want to move this up at all, because that kind of looks kind of cool with that. It kind of looks like a fireball kind of thing going on there. But this is what I like to do. I'm gonna move the smoke, move that up a little bit, bring it just about to where it's kind of trailing the fire. It's not exactly with it, but you know, it's kind of trailing it. And then we're gonna run that back and see what it looks like. Yes. That's quite nice. Now me personally, I might go ahead and take that fire and redden that up down a bit. Kind of mess with that a little bit. That's quite nice. But that's it. That is essentially it. Now, of course, what I would do for the ending, make that invisible. I would take these smoke and fire, group those together, and then I would take that and group the whole thing. So that way it will be emitted when you want to hook it to an emitter. Let's turn that off and get a better look without that floor. Yeah. But that's basically your most low grade, but it looks pretty good for just using paint and the settings in the paint, really. No timelines, no extra gadgets, just to make that. And you could just hook it into an emitter and emit it. But yeah, that's basically it. I will probably be releasing this for a free remix, so you can get in it and mess around with it if you want. And there's a lot of things that I haven't, you can do all kinds of stuff with this once you get the hang of it. You can make more complex explosions, you could do weird different shapes or different kinds of pyrotechniques with it. And if you do get into more like stuff, like, adding timelines and stuff, you can do that, and you could do even more effects, but we're keeping it simple for this one. That stuff will be covered maybe later on. But in the meantime, this is our very simple explosion, which has been brought to you by myself, Billy Cultist, from the Easy Dreams Cult. And if you enjoyed this, if this helped you out at all, like this video and tell your friends and subscribe. And I will see you sometime in the future. You'll hear me. You won't see me. I won't see you. But that is how it will be. Goodbye.